Greetings, traveler.
Hey everyone, today we are taking a look at the new Pirate and Duo card reveals. Removed Pirate cards. No more Ice Fisher, Gift Pilfer, Corpse Refiner, so that's 2 money pirates out on 2. Lubber out, Salty Looter out, Record Smuggler, Tethys, Crow's Nest, and Plunder Seeker. Okay, pretty sad about Gift Pilfer. That was such a really fun card to get early. Also, Tethys out definitely changes the identity of pirates, although pirates are still all about that money, so I'm sure there's lots of other alternatives. Just, you know, Tethys has been quite iconic. We had Hogger, and then we had Tethys, really this thing that rewarded you for spending money and helped you on the way to becoming infinite. We have a new spell. On tier 4 for 2 gold, you steal a random pirate from the tavern. Now in isolation, that doesn't seem that great because it can be, you know, quite random if there's 2 pirates or if you don't roll a pirate. But if you have the right shop for it, it seems okay, and we're gonna see that this is part of a different card. Greedy Headhunter is a 3-drop that gives you a Marauder's Contract. So we saw that here, Marauder's Contract steals a random pirate from the tavern. That seems so broken to me. I was really just double checking, is that not supposed to be a 4-drop? Because I'm paying 3 gold to get a Greedy Headhunter on my board. That's a 5/4, and then assuming that when I buy this, I also have a pirate in the tavern, or not always, but a lot of the time you will, then you also just steal a pirate from the tavern. So on tier 3, I'm getting a 5/4 and another pirate from the tavern for 3 gold. But it's not really 3 gold because I could sell both of those pirates straight away, although I wouldn't, right? But then I have 2 gold back. So I'm effectively paying 1 gold for a 5/4 and another pirate on the board. That's like bonkers tempo. So yeah, really good. Like if you roll this with another pirate in the shop early, that's amazing. Coast Guard, Battlecry, refresh the tavern with pirates and then steal one. This is pretty good because Marauder's Contract does need you to have pirates in the shop. So especially if you have a few of them banked, let's say you're playing APM style, you have a Bran, you play Greedy Headhunter, and you get a bunch of Marauder's Contract in your hand, then you get a Coast Guard. Boom, that's a shop with pirates. You can just unleash the Marauder contracts. And that seems to be one of the ways that you can generate money now, where you just steal a bunch of pirates from the shop and get value that way. Doubloon Grifter, whenever you get 4 pirates, increase your maximum gold by 1. Oh, baby. That's really fun. Increasing maximum gold is really fun. Now, Tethys is out, luckily, because that would be so insane, because Tethys is just a pirates to the hand machine. But we've just talked about that combo where if you have Bran, you get some Marauder contracts in your hand, then you play Ghost Guard, full shop of pirates, whoosh, pirates in your hand. That's very easily going to start proccing this. So I'm not sure if it's going to be too slow, but if it's not, this is amazing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this. Now, it'll be difficult to stay alive as you're proccing this, but if you're already in the mode where you are pumping the pirates, that is where you're gonna have that Tethys-like experience where you just have tons of money every turn. Dual wield Corsair, whenever you spend 5 gold, give 2 friendly pirates 4/4. That seems solid, right? When we think about that, you can keep this and a cleave on your board. So this with cleave, or just 2 of these on the board and they just buff each other. It's not that hard to spend gold. So yeah, this is nice. This is sort of like the higher tier version of the pirate that buffs attack when you spend money. This also buffs health. Now, this is only on 2 friendly pirates, so this is much better for a menagerie-esque setup, or you could just have a bunch of these on the board and buff like that. But usually it's whenever you have cards that buff only a small amount, it's better to funnel that on top of something like a cleave. So then this is a nice menagerie setup where you have a Corsair, you have a cleave, and then the rest is just Bran and whatever you want. Grace Farsail has a choose 1 effect, gain 2 gold next turn, or gain 4 gold in 2 turns. Careful investment next turn, or 2 careful investments 2 turns from now. Money early is generally better because that allows you to snowball better, right? If you have a strong start, you can build off that, whereas if you're delaying that money, you're going to take more damage, it's a bit harder to level and all that. But if you're in a good enough position where you can delay this, wow, that's a lot of money. Also, I can see this being quite the APM tool, where if you are playing with Bran and you get those Marauder contracts in your hand and you generate a shop full of pirates, you might get 1 or 2 Grace Farsails when you steal that shop. We also see why we had to remove the cannon that steals per pirate, because if you can generate a shops full of pirates and then, you know, it's obviously way too good. You can just keep going like that. But yeah, this seems like a really fun minion to get while you're APMing in the end game. And early game, it also seems really impactful if you're, you know, money is just so nice. So If you go to tier 3 early and you roll 1 or 2 of these, oh my god, you're rich, right? So much money. So that's just a snowball effect. So yeah, very fun. I'm a fan of that. I love those early economy cards. I think they're both really strong and really fun to play with. Spacefarer. Whenever another friendly pirate gains attack, gain 3 health. When I saw this card, I double checked. Career wasn't out of the game. I was like, oh no, she's being changed. So it's no longer a 3-drop, but it's a 4-drop. But these cards are pretty linked, right? So you have Career, which gives all your pirates +2 attack. And this thing says, whenever another friendly pirate gains attack, gain 3 health. So if you have a board of, say, 5 other pirates, and you proc that, you get 15 HP for every 5 gold spent. We have seen this in the past with something like Ice Fisher, where it's like, oh, I'm just going to have this high-tier pirate, and then I'm going to start buffing it. And that was too slow. While this can proc like crazy, I'm not sure if it's going to be good enough if we have to wait until tier 6 to then put it on the board to then start buffing it. If it's not too slow, it's bonkers, because that's so much health so easily. Right, if you're playing Peggies, every time you buy a card, it's just the Spacefarer's health just goes all the way up. It's quite significant. We saw that with Ice Fisher. They put Ice Fisher on tier 6 and it was just unplayable. It's too slow, no way to do it. Like, it was good on 4. So it went from 6 to 5 to 4. So we'll see what happens with the Spacefarer. But this effect is obviously easier to really go crazy with, because you have that Cannoneer still in the game. Or what's her name? Courier. Always forget her name. We have Lovesick Balladist going to tier 3. Give a pirate +1 health, improved by each gold you spent this turn. So I think that changes just so that you can keep track of it, where if it's in your hand, you can hover it and say, oh, +16 now. I don't have to do the math of like, how much did I spend? That definitely did happen with Balladist, where you would have a big turn and be like, I have no idea how much this is going to buff. I guess we'll just rip it and see. And now you'll be able to tell on the card, like, oh, okay, I'm getting this much. So it seems like a nice quality of life change. And then it is also on tier 3 now instead of on tier 4. That is also a significant change. That just means there's more Balladists in the pool, easier to roll them. Overall, just seems like a really nice buff to pirates. Gambler is back. Yes! This was such a good unit. This at one point in time was the best 2-drop in the game, and it might still be, just because you're able to buy a 2-drop that's a 3/3, so it can sort of hold its own in the combat. It's not premium or anything. But then you can trade it for like a 4-drop or a 5-drop later in the game. That's so good. That's so strong. So yeah, this is a very, very good minion to buy early. And it's also great to cycle, right? We have these things that reward you for spending money. Like, for instance, the Courier. You can just buy and sell the Gambler. It's the easiest way to spend gold. Courier is moving to tier 4 instead of tier 3, which I do think makes sense, because we see the Spacefarer, the pirate that scales. And there's also another reason. It's now +2 attack instead of +1 attack. So this goes quite hard, quite fast. Yeah, that's a lot of attack on your board. And then this really shocked me. Peggy is a 3-drop. Man, Peggy is so good. Depending on the meta, Peggy is really a card you're going for. So more Peggies in the pool. I can just imagine going 3-on-3 and rolling double Peggy. It was like, all right, Peggy. And then that's amazing. Every time you buy a card, you put a card in your hand, it's +1/+1 on both the Peggies. It works on spells, it works on gems, it works on coins, spellcraft, you name it. If you can just like add cards to your hand. One of my favorite ways to do that is Togwaggle, by the way. You put Peggy on the board, then you press the Togwaggle hero power. The whole shop just enters your hand. The Peggy just goes buff. Super fun. So yeah, this is powerful. And the fact that she's a 2/1 is really not that relevant. She was a 6/5 at one point on tier 4, and they had to nerf that as well. So yeah, it starts out as a 2/1, but it grows so quickly, and it's guaranteed scaling. Assuming you have a pirate, right? So if you have Peggy and a pirate, you're never not going to add cards to your hand. Like, that's how you play the game. You play the game by adding cards to your hand. It's kind of like spending gold. So it is guaranteed scaling, which is super nice. Then Portal in a Bottle has been removed. That does make sense. There's tons of abuse possibilities with this, but we will see that there are some changes to still allow for passing, but it's just going to be a little less broken. First up, we have the Bargain Bundle. Discover a minion, your teammate gets 0 options. That seems so much fun. Wow. You discover from 3 minions, you pick whatever you want, and then you send the 2 others your teammate's way. And that's for 5 gold. So this seems so good to discover off a rodeo and, not pay 5 gold for, and then just pop this, and lots of crazy APM stuff available. Portal in a Crystal is the new Portal in a Bottle for friendly minions. So this means that you can only pass from your board. So it is only going to cost 2 gold, but it is on tier 5. So this is nice. You add a little bit of a condition, a restriction on the pass, where you can't just target the shop and your board, you can only target your board. Now, for most of the broken stuff, people were using it to pick stuff up from their board, send it to the teammates, send it back. Something like a sea glass and, you know, double the health again. Something like a mirage and double the health in the shop. Something like a magnetic with a beatboxer. So that is still going to be possible, but it's going to be harder to get if it is a 5-drop. Then we see the alternative here, pass a minion in the tavern. That is on tier 3 for 3 gold. So sort of like the original portal in a bottle, although I do believe that was 2 gold on release. You get to pass a minion from the tavern, which is still cheaper than having to buy it and shove it in the portal. You're now paying 3 gold and you're essentially getting the pass for free. Reduce the cost of upgrading for your team's taverns by 1. That's a death rattle. So that means that both you and your teammate are getting an extra gold for tiering. And we all know that in duos, it's more expensive to tier. So that just seems like a really nice pickup early. Now, I'll be completely honest. I don't play that much duos, so I am not the duos expert. I'll throw in a little plug-in. Go check out Educated Collins on YouTube. He plays together with Sapphire X. Usually those guys are rank 1 in an A, very, very high level duo content if you're very interested in duo content specific. Gathering Stormer is a 2-drop, lots of greed here. Whenever you sell this, your teammate gains 1 gold. Upgrade each turn. So the longer you keep that, the bigger of a payday it is. So that's going to be really good in helping your teammate level up to tier 4, tier 5. Those are very expensive tiers, and sometimes it's just so awkward without an extra 2 or 3 gold. And now you can provide that to your teammates. So really be the support. Tell them like, hey, you go up, you get some good cards, and then send some back to me, okay? I'm gonna just boost you this early game. So that seems like a fun unit to buy early for sure. Loyal Mobster. I do have a question here. I don't know what blood gem this is, because it says at the end of the turn, play a blood gem on all your teammates' minions. Is that my blood gem or their blood gem in terms of size? Because if I have a 5/5 blood gem and they have a 1/1, that's pretty relevant. I would assume that when it says play a blood gem, it's gonna take your blood gems. Yeah, if anyone in the comments knows, that does seem like the most logical thing to me. But this seems really, really strong, where you can be the Quilboar High Roller. We've all seen that in duos where you just have this giant board, and then your teammate is forced to run 2 Leroys and some poison because they don't have a real board because they spent the whole time feeding you. Now you can give it back to them, play a Drakari for double end of turn, play like a golden loyal mobster, and suddenly your board's getting huge, but also your teammate's board is getting huge. So it seems like a lot of fun. Ocean Floor Rummager. At the end of turn, give your team's minions, so both your warband and your teammate's warband, +1 attack for each different bonus keyword in your warbands. So that's going to be stuff like Venomous, Taunt, Stealth, those type of things, those extra keywords. If you have, let's say, 4 of them, then you get 4 attack to everything. So that seems like a nice card to triple into early to keep yourself and your teammate healthy. And then you can push towards the higher levels and get your comp online. So it seems like a nice card to provide some tempo in the mid game and keep both you and your teammates alive. Private Chef. That's essentially Chef's Choice. Choose a minion, get a different random minion of its type, and then pass it. The reason why I say it's basically Chef's Choice is, well, obviously, you know, there's a whole, you know, Private Chef, and it's the effect, but you're only paying 2 gold really for this, because Chef you buy for 2 gold, this thing you buy for 3 gold, but you can sell this as well and get the gold back. So even if this is only a cycle, you're using it for Chef's Choice for your teammates. Seems like a fun card to have on your board early, seems to be able to generate some economy. You can send a minion to your teammate. That's enough for them to sell something off their board, play the new minion and level, still have a full board. So fun. Just all these things, super fun for me. Extra economy, extra resources. I'm all for that. I think that makes the game a lot more fun. Then Sandlane Scribe? Sandlane? Let me know what that's about. Maybe that's a reference I'm also not getting. +4/+4 for each of your team's Sandlane Scribes that died this game. This one is harder for me to gauge as to how good that is. It's a tier 4, and you can reborn it. So that could go quite quickly, but then you both sort of have to play it to get the maximum effects. So I don't know. I don't play enough duos to really have a good idea on whether this is really good or unplayable. So yeah, again, let me know in the comments if you're playing tons of duos. What do you think about this card? Selfless Sightseer. Battle Cry. Increase your team's maximum gold by 1. Hell yeah. Battle Cry. Strike all for you. Strike all for me. Let's go. Play this with a brand. Gold. Money. Oh. Now, I know duos is higher tempo, so this is probably not as good there. the games are over faster, you're able to build your board faster, lots of damage. So the tempo in the duos is higher, so it's harder to really get the maximum value from this, but I want this to be good. I don't know if it is going to be, but I want this to be good. It seems right up my alley. Shifty Snake. Yeah, another economy minion, right? Death Rattle, your teammate gets a random Death Rattle minion. Now, that is a 6/1, but you can reborn it, and then you get 2 Death Rattles. I'm not really sure if that is strong enough to keep on your board and not just lose horribly, because it is a 6/1 with no real Death Rattle effect for the combat. So that's like, okay, here's a Magma Rager. That's generally not really what you want out of a 4-drop, but it is economy. So if your teammate is strong and they can win the fight for you and you can just run this to defeat them, then yeah, sure, that seems like a really fun thing to have on the board. Transport Reactor, 1/1 for each time your team has passed this game. So we see Beatboxer being out, right? So it's not like you can put this on a magnetic, then portal it, pass it again, magnetic, magnetic, magnetic. So there's no real advantage over magnetizing this over and over. So you would just buy it and put it on whatever mech you want to buff. At first glance, it doesn't feel that good, because I don't know just how much you can pass without really hurting yourself too much, right? You're going to play stuff like Well-Wisher, you're going to play the Fountain and the Portal and the Crystal, but still, seems difficult to go crazy on this. But perhaps I'm just undervaluing or underestimating how easy it is to do a bunch of passes where this becomes really good. Two-Faced Doomguard. End of turn, deal 3 damage to your hero, give your team's minions 3/3. That seems like a lot of fun to have. You pair this with Archimond or Soul Rewinder, then you have Drukhari on the board, and you're dealing damage to yourself, which is, you know, synergy with some of the demons. And then you're also gaining 3/3 or 6/6, or, you know, if it's golden, maybe with Drukhari 12/12. That seems fun. Seems like a really fun early triple to have for the demon player, and then give a little back to the teammate. All right, guys, that is going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the pirate and duo reveal. Please let me know in the comments if there is anything I missed or other stuff you want me to talk about. I'll see you guys for the next one. Have a good one.